Hello, everyone. I am Pedro.
And I am Meredith.
And this is Gritty Reboot. That's a very serious intro.
Yeah.
Like, I am definitively the Meredith. I like the way you did that. I coming in strong. I appreciate that. That's good. So this week, what are we doing?
We are doing Child's Play 2019.
Try not to sound so tired of it already. Yeah. Child's Play 2019. Hey, listen, spoiler, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, I know people really hated this thing, but it's not.
It's not my favorite, though.
It's not that bad. No. It's not the best in the series by any means.
Better in the sequels.
Yeah, I like this more than a few of the sequels. There's a few of them I don't particularly care for.
Yeah, their Seed of Chucky is just awful.
So, and once again, I did want to talk about, there are a ton of Child's Play movies, and I know a lot of people consider some of them a soft reboot or a different reboot. Well, to be perfectly frank, this is the only one I truly consider a reboot, because this is incredibly different from the rest of the series. It is. It really is. A lot of those other films are just a tonal reboot, really, if that, and that's not really the same thing. They're just sequels. I mean, that's like trying to say Friday the 13th Part 6 is a reboot because it's a little bit more comedic. And, that's absurd, really. That's not the way it really goes. So that's just how we look at it. I know you could say the same thing for the direct-to-video movies, and I really thought that too, but they really make a point of, his makeup coming off Chucky and revealing that he's the stitched-up version that we saw in the last film.
Yeah.
But they're the same one, so that makes it to me like a legitimate sequel, even if it is a bit of a tone shift. It still is part of that same canon. It's all the same dude, so
yeah.
This is all new creators, all different. So this is the only one, in my opinion, that's a true reboot. But that doesn't mean we won't one day take a closer look at the Child's Play series. I think that's something we do have planned for the future. And once we thought about it, I think we want to take a deeper look at it, especially when we get a chance to. When the show wraps up, I think that's a good opportunity for us to do it, because we can binge on that and sort of lay a definitive. And of course, I don't know if it ends or not. Even if the show ends, they can still do another movie. Yeah. There's always a direct-to-video or straight-to-streaming market. I shouldn't say direct-to-video anymore, because it makes me sound so old.
Yeah, that does make you sound 100.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Let's send it straight to the phonograph.
Sure.
You can pick up your own 16mm reel down at your local shop.
You can send me a telegraph about it.
Yes, we can just hit it out, and I'll describe the film.
Morse code.
Morse code. That's the best way to really understand a movie. Is translated through Morse code. Boat. Yeah.
Andy, I know this move has been really tough, but this was supposed to be a new start for us, remember? You said you were going to try to make new friends.
Buddy can connect to and control all of your Caslin products and smart home devices. Introducing your new best friend.
Are you ready for the best fucking trivia about this movie you've ever goddamn heard?
I know I am. Give it to me.
Tom Holland loved the casting of Mark Hamill as Chucky. He called it a smart move.
He did.
Yeah.
Now, was that before or after he played Spider-Man?
Not that Tom Holland.
Not that. Oh, you mean the director of the original film?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes much more sense. I'm sure no one has ever made that joke about him in these movies.
Yeah. No.
Continue on.
The horror film the kids are watching with Chucky, interpreting it, is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, 1986.
Have you ever seen this movie?
Yeah.
First off, I love when they show it. It's completely just out of order and pure carnage.
Yeah.
It's just a montage of the carnage in the movie, and it's way bloodier and gory than the first film.
It's ridiculous.
It really is. I do somewhat enjoy that film, but I appreciate that it shows up there. I don't know why they go to such a classic, but I guess it's pretty gory, so.
There is a Killer Clowns from Outer Space movie poster on a wall in Andy's room. Killer Clowns from Outer Space was released in 1988, the same year as the original Child's Play.
So, I like Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
I don't.
I think it's a really unique kind of cult movie. It's got this really weird design for these aliens. It has a very unique and strange vibe that it carries really throughout the entire film. It's unique, and that's exactly what a cult film should be, because it's not perfect by any means. It's sometimes far too campy, But it's just the fact that it is something that is unique. You know, there's not a lot of films like Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And I really mean that as a compliment. I think if you enjoy kind of stranger movies and horror flicks that maybe others don't find as entertaining, I think you might enjoy that movie because it is, like I said, a very unique experience.
Well, as common with, cult movies, you'll find a lot of people that don't like the movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's a
And
cult
I'm one of
film.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a pure cult movie all the way. It's not for everyone at all.
No.
They're making a video game out of it, and I can't imagine it being that successful because it is such a cult property.
Mm-hmm.
Evil Dead had the same problem, and that is the king of cult properties.
Yeah. No shit. Made some careers.
Yeah. I think. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
How's that? Is that Sam Raimi? Is he doing okay?
Yeah.
Did he do anything after Crime Wave?
Yeah. I think he did a few films.
Did he do a sequel to Darkman?
No.
No,
That
he
was
didn't.
it.
Just the one.
Yeah. Just the one.
So we're never going to cover Darkman.
No.
I like Darkman.
I know you do, but we have no reason to cover it.
Shut up. Stop ruining my fun.
In this movie, there are a few call outs to E.T.
E.T.
Yeah.
That's Steven Spielberg's The Extraterrestrial.
Yes.
For those unaware.
Yeah, I guess I do need to explain that.
No, all of our
It's
listeners
old-ass
are 100
movie.
years old. They've
Yeah.
seen that movie.
Okay. The movie, Chucky has a glowing finger that makes things work.
Sure, I guess that counts.
Andy
Whatever.
wears a bright red sweatshirt throughout the movie.
He does. That is very similar to the attire that What's-His-Face wears in E.T.
Chucky learns how to do things from watching TV just as E.T. does.
That's true. They both get drunk. Is that? Oh, no, only E.T. does that.
That's it.
Okay. Chucky does not get drunk, is what we're saying.
I don't think Chuck. Well, probably. Yeah, he probably gets drunk somewhere in the series, but not in this.
Not in this movie, because he's
in
not
this
a
movie.
person. He's a machine.
Yeah.
An
It's
android.
kind of lame.
Yeah.
All right.
It is lame. That's our review of the show. All right, thanks, everybody. No.
To bring life to his fully articulated hands, Chucky's little fingers were threaded with tiny cables that would lead back through a rod and out the elbow to a finger control mechanism operated by puppeteers. Masters Effects mechanics would also create a self-contained radio-controlled hands that were capable of a bit less articulation for wider shots that didn't require as much finger movement. That's how they move Chucky's
Yeah,
hands.
the effects work is really impressive, actually.
Yeah.
We watched a behind-the-scenes featurette about the effects, and there was a sequence that I thought was a really impressive animatronic, and it actually was a CG Chucky.
Yeah, and they had so little time to prepare from what I read.
Yeah. This was a bit more of a rush production, and I think most of the work done by the animatronic team is pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing truly amazing in the work, but there's nothing that stands out as poor or anything like that.
No.
Even if I do think some of the teddy bear designs later are nightmare-inducing.
Can
It's
you
good.
guess who would have been cast as Karen Barclay in this movie? She has a famous rock star father.
They want Liv Tyler?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I can't believe I got that.
Yeah. Good job.
I don't like Liv Tyler as an actress.
Yeah, she was considered for the role.
I didn't mean to just come in and just slam Liv Tyler. You know what? I did mean to come in. Liv Tyler, fuck you.
Jesus Christ.
Is that too strong?
Yeah, we're
Sorry.
fans to Liv Tyler.
Sorry.
We're-
No, I
She
just.
could be listening to this show.
Oh
right
my
now.
God! Can you imagine if she's the first person to get on the Patreon? Like, I just want to donate. Never mind. Fuck you too.
Yeah, exactly. You just ruined everything.
Unsubscribe. 1 star. Oh man. Oh, I can't believe it. Our biggest fan, Liv Tyler, has now left the fold. Just never cared for her work. Like every time she's just one of those actresses. Like I said, I've just never been a huge fan of.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just don't like her from The Incredible Hulk or whatever that Hulk movie's called.
I think it is The Incredible.
Is it? Yeah, because I think the one with Bannett's just called Hulk.
Yeah.
And then Ruffalo never got a solo movie.
I got one more factoid for you.
Lay it on me.
For the gross body movements or for taking a step or two, the
Mhm.
Chucky dolls were simply Bun Rocco rod puppets. The bodies of the hero puppets all had multiple mounting points for the control rods.
Did they?
Puppeteer Jason Ward would support the doll and then guide it as he needed. Usually the legs of the puppets could be left loose or the joints could be locked down while being controlled by rods. Major walking or running scenes would be achieved with CG, as would some of the eye movements and color changes. Boom.
I like that. No, they like I said, these guys have to do really amazing work.
Yeah.
It's a true art, and I'm glad they still do it because it really adds something to a film like this.
Yeah, I think the more practical, the better.
So I want to talk a little bit about how the hell we got this. But before I talk about that, I'm going to talk about if you would like to let us know that our opinion on Child's Play sucks, and we should also be stabbed by a doll for even entertaining the idea of liking this film, then you can let us know that. In what way, Meredith?
By emailing grittyrebootcast@gmail.com.
You Southern belled that. By emailing us. I do declare I get the vapors when you send us an email.
My Southern coming out.
Or you can just look up Gritty Reboot on Instagram or TikTok. That's another good way to get a hold of us. Or you can find me, Illusionist13 on X, I guess. I guess we got to accept it. It's not Twitter anymore. It's X. Even though I think the website is still twitter.com, which is strange. I don't know. I don't get it. With that being said, I do want to get into a little bit of the backstory here. So basically, the rights of the first film were split. And MGM retained some of the rights to the first movie and retained any sort of remake rights that they ever wanted to do to that film and the characters in and the likeness. So they can't just put Tiffany in the movie because that's not something that they own from that franchise or some of the other later things introduced in the far later sequels. So they were limited to just that. So Don Mancini, we talked about last week, he wrote that movie. He wrote the original film. He's written every film in that continuity. And he is the showrunner on the TV show now. He is the father of Child's Play, pretty much, and the Chucky franchise. He absolutely despised that they were going to do this. He wanted to reboot himself at one point, but he eventually decided to do the direct-to-video films, Curse and Cult of Chucky. So with that, the franchise was still going on for Don Mancini, but MGM really just cashed in their chips to try to just get a remake through at this moment in time. So they offered Don Mancini a executive producer credit, which wasn't really going to offer him a ton of money and offer him no creative input. So he kind of told them in no uncertain terms to fuck off. He sent them some nasty memes, that Mariah Carey, I don't know her meme. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So he sent stuff like that. And Jennifer Tilly responded as well with hashtag not my Chucky, things like that. So this movie got off to a very bad start for the fan base. And it was an odd decision by MGM to do it. But at the end of the day, the movie actually was somewhat successful for them. It really wasn't welcomed by fans. And like I said, from that pressure from the original creators, there was a significant amount of controversy around the film. And I think that really hurt its box office returns. $10 million budget, $45 million to the box office. So that is a good return, but we still haven't heard any peep of a sequel at all. And I don't think we really ever will at this point. It's just how it's going to go with this film.
No, I don't think so either.
That's pretty much it. It was split there. Eventually, I think over time, fans have sort of cooled on the hatred of the movie. A lot of the Child's Play faithful really, really set out to truly dislike this movie and really tar it. And I don't believe it's that bad. I think straight up, I know we usually do the ratings at the end, but I think this is a 5 to 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I would give it a 4.
You know what? I will agree with you. And I'd say it's a 5. It's about middle of the road, watchable.
Yeah.
That's about as much as I could really say for it. It is a watchable film with the opportunity to become more interesting and really doesn't follow through with that.
Like if it's on in a hotel room, I might consider watching it.
Sure. That's the thing about it. This scenario comes up less and less and will continue to come up less and less, where we're going to have just standard broadcast television and we're stuck with something. How many times have we gone to a hotel recently and they've had Netflix?
Yeah.
So I just want to say like that, our opportunity to just watch a rerun on Sci-Fi or USA is slowly coming to an end.
Oh, that just made me sad.
I know, that bygone era when you get to a hotel room, turn it on. I'll never forget, I came back from a shoot once having a bad day, turned it on, it was on TBS, and they were showing fucking aliens. I was like, yeah. It was 40 minutes left to go, the best part.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, you wanna kick this off?
Yeah, I do.
Let's do this.
I desperately do want to kick this off. The film was directed by Lars Kleberg, and of course it does star Aubrey Plaza, Gabriel Bateman, Brian Tyree Henry, and the voice of Mark Hamill as Chucky.
All right. Well, this movie starts off with Tim Matheson, and he introduces us to the world of Buddy. It's
Tim Matheson from Animal House, by the way?
Yeah, it's basically an infomercial on how Buddy works.
It does a decent job introducing us to the world. Decent job of world building.
And then we go to the stark reality of Caslin Factory in Vietnam. And it's a bunch of people, Vietnamese, making Buddy dolls. And it's all hot and sweaty. And
I appreciate the image of this hellscape.
Yeah. everybody's miserable, wants to kill themselves.
They got one homeboy, and he not dozes off, like he daydreams for a moment.
Yeah.
And the supervisor comes up right behind him, immediately fucking fires him.
Yeah.
And doesn't throw him off the floor, doesn't have security escort him out, tells him to finish the doll, because surely no harm can come from that decision, right?
No shit, right?
So I love this idea that he just, and by the way, he has controls that are in English that we can read, right?
Yeah.
So he goes and then he literally does what the Simpsons make the joke about. He goes and he turns off all the AI safeguards, right?
Yeah.
Yep, here's your problem. Someone set this thing to evil.
That's literally what he does. He just sets
I love you.
Chucky to evil.
Come here, you.
That basically begins our movie right there. He puts the computer chip in him. Chucky's off the line and packaged and sent as a time bomb. That homeboy got a lot of people killed.
Yep. He sets the doll to ultimate violence and he gets it packaged up and sent out. And then the guy kills himself.
Yeah, he jumps off the roof and lands on a car.
Yeah.
It's very morbid. But I think this movie is more of a dark comedy. I do want to mention that. Like, if you thought it was going to be similar to the original film, it isn't in that way.
No.
It very much is more of a comedy.
Aubrey Plaza's in this movie and she plays a mom, which is kind of weird for me.
She plays Karen in this movie like Catherine did in the first film.
Yeah.
And the role's similar. I think they both work at a shop, even though I forget what the name of the store is, but it doesn't matter. It's not a Walmart, right? It's too low rent to be a Walmart,
Yeah.
right? It's like a Sears, like a dying Sears is what I thought
Like
it
a
was, right?
clearance.
Yeah, right. It's like, because they have like some of the high end, like Sears would have that high end stuff because they got electronics like that, but it wasn't where you went for that.
Yeah.
But I could imagine them maybe getting in on something like this. So that's what I imagine it as. If you can think of like the dying days of Sears, trust me, there's tons of YouTube videos that can show you the shithole that they were as they went out of business.
Karen gets shit from a customer who ordered Buddy 1 but wanted Buddy 2, but it hasn't even come out yet.
Yeah.
He takes it anyways and leaves. She goes home to her son and she encourages him to go out and make friends.
We're introduced to an older Andy. Andy's about what?
13.
Like 13, 14 in this
Yeah.
movie, a young teenager, where in the other movie he's like 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty significant difference that he's an older kid, and that really does make him the lead in this movie. And I think the actor does a pretty good job.
I don't think that's a bad change either.
No, I don't think so either. If you're going to do something different, I think putting it with the kids, I think is a much better idea.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, you know, putting them in danger and having them get their own way out of danger is more interesting. I know it's very Stranger Things, but that's not a bad template to follow.
No, absolutely.
Not a bad template at all. I said I don't hate this movie.
Basically, he ends up sitting alone because the kids are doing something. He's just like,
Sits
he's
alone.
he's a loner.
Yeah. Yeah, because she tells him to go out and play, and he just like sits in the hallway and is on his phone till he meets Brian Tyree Henry, Detective Mike.
Mm-hmm. Karen has somebody return another Buddy 1, and she just says that the eyes turn red when she turns it on.
Yeah, it was not working properly.
Yeah, it's not
you know.
working properly. So Karen's like, hey, you know, this is defective. I'm going to beg my boss to see if I can take it home to Andy, even though he's a teenager and probably doesn't want to play with a doll.
Her idea is it's sort of like a sarcastic kind of gift.
Yeah.
We can kind of shit on it together, I guess.
Yeah.
It's kind of how it's supposed to be portrayed. But she has a little scene out there where she has a confrontation with her boss who wants to follow through with what corporate wants. Because corporate's just going to destroy the doll, which actually would have saved everyone's lives.
Mm-hmm.
Aubrey Plaza and her character, Karen, what a fucking bitch.
Yeah,
Gets
she
everybody killed.
Everyone.
Yeah, because she had to have something for free. So she blackmails her owner. First of all, her owner, pardon me, she's not a slave.
Yeah, I know.
what am I doing?
What movie are you talking about?
I said the quiet part out loud. She blackmails her boss because she caught him fucking one of the girls in the stock room.
Yeah.
And that's not his wife. So she's able to get that thing for free, and she takes it home, the cursed doll, to Andy, and begins this tale of woe. Whoa.
She goes home with a guy, and her son walks in with her, on her. So that's Shane we get to meet.
Yeah, we meet Shane, who is just the most charming individual.
Yeah.
Is he not? You know,
would.
Here's the thing. Yeah. So I talk about this a lot. Like, you want to give your bad guys a little shade.
Mm-hmm.
He is just like asshole to like the 10th degree, right?
Yeah. Typical cliche asshole.
Yeah, there's not really a whole lot to the character.
No.
And I think later
He brings nothing to
later on they pile on with it, and I'm like, all right, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. We'll talk about that scene. He's a dick, and he's trying to bang Aubrey Plaza, and that's all right.
Andy goes into the hall to be alone, but a neighbor notices him, and this is where What's-His-Face comes in.
Oh, okay.
The detective, and chaps him up. Karen comes out and says she's got a present for him. So she tells Andy she's got a present, and she brings him inside the apartment after having some witty back and forth with the detective.
Yeah. There's a nice little sequence here. His introduction in the movie, I think, is pretty well handled. Yeah, I like these actors here. This isn't the best screenplay for dialogue back and forth between them, because I think sometimes it can fall a little flat.
Well, he unwraps the gift that she's got him, and it's a buddy doll.
He's not thrilled.
No. He turns it on, and he gives the name of Chucky. And he keeps saying the name Chucky, even though he wants to name him like...
Han Solo.
Han Solo, yeah.
To make the Star Wars show.
Yeah.
And he's just Chucky for the sake of it.
And it starts acting strange pretty much immediately.
Yeah, he's glitching out. He's not being able to finish his words and stuff like that.
Andy takes him to his room and thanks his mom for the present, even as if it's a little damaged. Chucky sings the buddy song to Andy, and it's pretty creepy.
Yeah, I think it is. Can you feel the evil from it?
Until the end, more than a buddy, you're my best friend.
It is pretty creepy in the movie how it's portrayed.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really bother me. I think I could enjoy this song from a regular toy.
Yeah, it's pretty catchy.
I think so too. The music is pretty good in this flip. By the way, did we talk about the score? Bear McCreary did the score?
No, we didn't talk about the score. I had some notes about the score, but none of it was interesting.
I think there's one cool fact about the score is that he did the soundtrack entirely with the children's toys.
Oh.
Yeah, every sound you hear in the soundtrack is him, and it's children's toys. He took them straight from his son's room and just started putting the soundtrack together like that. Performed every note, every strike you hear is him. Nothing was outsourced. He did it all himself in that way to have this very childlike. I think the score's really good, and knowing that I think makes it pretty cool. So that's a cool little factoid about this movie. And so probably one of the better elements of it. So
yeah. Well, Andy's asleep, and he turns over while sleeping, and Chucky's right there, standing over him.
Not creepy at all, just stand over him. But I do want to mention that Chucky is supposed to be innocent at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he very much is. He's just a cyborg, and whatever he is, like an AI doll. That's it. He doesn't have any morals. He's just trying to be a friend to Andy. That's it.
Andy tells him to sleep, but he becomes more annoying, if you would say.
He keeps singing the song.
Yeah. Next day, Andy's cutting his sandwich for school, and Chucky's watching him the entire time. And Andy takes a knife and he stabs it into the cutting board. And then when he goes away, Chucky mimics him. Chucky
is set to learn everything that he sees. Yeah. He's a learning AI, so.
Yeah, but he's picking up on all
the wrong things. The violence inhibitor is off, and he's like, I like this.
Andy comes home from school, and Chucky's waiting for him.
Doesn't he try to give him books like in the commercial earlier?
Mm-hmm.
He's bringing him the wrong things.
Yeah, he brings him toilet paper.
But I want to say they just dropped the defective plot line.
Yeah.
At some point, because he's no longer defective anymore. He's working perfectly fine now that he's fully set to 100% evil.
Killing machine.
Yeah. The more human blood he spills, the more effective he runs.
He gets told to be quiet while playing with Chucky by his mother's boyfriend, Shane.
Yeah.
And then they go outside, and this is where they have a bonding moment. Or I guess loner kid to weird doll.
He's always kind of God. Like they're sitting there on the bench, right?
Yeah.
And they're just throwing bottles, and he's just able to talk about how much Shane pisses him off, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, if anybody to talk to, he's alone. He can't tell his mom how much her boyfriend sucks. He wants his mom to be happy. They have a good relationship. He's a good kid.
Mm-hmm.
It just, sometimes shit sucks.
Yeah.
And he needs somebody to talk to. And Chucky was good enough for that. They become fast friends.
Yeah.
And I think this element of the film works.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Back inside, the cat scratches Andy, and he bleeds. Chucky asks,
"You bleed?
What is that?" Andy says it hurts. He goes away, and when he comes back, Chucky is strangling the cat.
Yeah, like he has the cat, like he's got him. He is choking the life out of him. Like, ah!
Hopefully no cats were injured in the making.
It's
of
pretty
it.
effective, and it's a good sound effect.
Yeah.
He comes in, he's like, no, what are you doing? And separates him, trying to tell Chucky the right way. Because I think this is still pretty realistic. I think you might understand, like, he's just trying to help out, doesn't understand what that would do to another creature.
Yeah.
He did sure guess properly at choking, though.
Mm-hmm.
Have we seen him choke anything?
No.
It's pothole already.
Learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's movie.
You know what? 1 star.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've turned.
Yeah. 1 star. Hate the movie. I agree with Don Mancini. So anyway, McCready is able to step out into the cold. And now it bothers him, but we're
not talking about the thing.
Oh, sorry.
We already did that. All right. So Andy tries to get Chucky to look more frightening. And he's trying to do that so he can kind of bully Shane a little bit.
Yeah, basically trains him to like stalk and like jump scare Shane.
Yeah, and how to maneuver his face a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Kind of a freaky way.
Yeah, they're just trying to spook him. And it's actually, this is one of the movie's better running gags.
2 kids come on Chucky and they swear in front of Chucky and he copies them. And he explains he kind of does whatever and they go about scaring the boyfriend.
To be fair, this really would interest like a pair of 12 and 13-year-olds.
Yeah.
Oh, he swears?
Yeah.
And this is Fallon and what's the other guy's name?
I have no idea. I didn't write them down. I just call them friends.
Dax. Yeah. I think
that's all that matters.
Yeah, Fallon and Pug, that's who it is. By the way, I wanted to mention it's Fallon spelled Falyn.
Of course it is.
Yeah. Thank you, cast list. But yes, Fallon and Pug enter the movie with mixed results.
A bunch of kids play with Buddy, trying to get it to do crazy things so they can go viral. One of them is asking Chucky to stab a unicorn they all have. Little stuffed unicorn.
And they want him to say this is for Tupac as he does it.
Mm-hmm. Then they all watch a movie.
Which you won't do.
Chucky begins getting ideas because they're watching a horror movie.
Yeah, they're watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre, just pure violence, all the kills, out of order, no less.
Yeah, the second movie.
Yeah, so he gets the idea to run to the kitchen and grab a knife.
He goes to get a knife. He comes out going right towards his friends. And Andy wrestles him to the ground. He locks him away from... He basically takes him and he locks him away from everyone.
He cuts Andy.
Yeah.
He does. He hurts Andy, and that's the reason he has to get locked away. He looks so sad, by the way.
Yeah.
When he's locked away, just sitting there on the bed. Like, think about what you've done, you evil AI.
Mm-hmm.
E-I-E-I-O.
Shane and Karen are watching the game. Shane goes to get another beer and gets scared by Chucky.
Yeah, he does another great stalk scare.
He records Andy talking shit about Shane.
He plays a recording of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His mom gets mad and locks Chucky away again.
Yeah. She's being a bad mom because she really wants to get laid.
Yeah.
And she's just like, listen, I need you to stop ruining this for me, okay? Like, I need this, all right? Please, chill. So she locks away the doll, even though he's really protesting that it's more than a doll.
The next day, Andy comes home from school and Chucky is busted out of where his mom hit him.
Yeah, because he busted the glass, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's legit busted out.
And he goes into the kitchen and his cat is dead.
Yeah, he has murdered the cat. So we have our first kill by Chucky.
Mm-hmm.
So he just went in there and stabbed the cat, and poor Andy has to get rid of the evidence, throw it down the garbage chute.
Yeah, and it seems to be his mom's cat, too, because she's, like, real concerned about it.
Well, she has one scene where she shows concern.
Well, there's a couple of scenes.
Is there?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, hats off to you. You as a cat lover noticed. Like, I want to see who's the first to say something about this cat.
Yeah.
The fellow cat lover.
I felt bad for the cat.
Yeah, he didn't do anything.
He
He's just
do
doing
anything.
cat stuff. He didn't know.
Even
that.
if he was an asshole cat. All cats are assholes.
And to be fair, I don't feel... it's indifferent about Chucky because he just doesn't really understand.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't quite understand just yet. But he'd also... I feel bad because he just has the murdering set to 100.
So Andy has to lie to his mom about the cat.
He got out the door.
Yeah.
He says.
While Andy is sleeping, Chucky plays his cat meowing and hissing, which I thought was a better scene.
Yeah, this is a really creepy... This is the movie's creepiest scene is his eyes are red over there. So listen, I feel like this would have been the turning point in the relationship between the two, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it just doesn't register at all, right?
Mm-mm.
Like, it's just kind of weird that he just kind of lets that go. I understand they're friends, but that would be a strange thing to do. As creepy as the scene is, like, I don't think it has, like, logic within the film, but it's sort of whatever, I guess.
The next day, Chucky's there waiting for Andy once again. When he gets home, Shane annoys him, so he leaves. Chucky scares Shane and plays a recording of Andy talking shit again.
Calling him an asshole or something.
Yeah, he confronts Andy and is strutting on this kid for some reason.
Feeling like a big man. Push that 12-year-old around.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah. Yeah. So he cements himself as the biggest asshole in the world. Now he'll get to cement it even harder later.
When he leaves Andy, basically Andy wishes that he didn't exist or Shane didn't exist anymore. Or says something like that.
So there's an anger that he wishes he was gone.
And Chucky basically obliges.
Yeah, Chucky's eyes turn red and he smiles.
Mm-hmm. Shane gets in his truck and goes home to his wife and kids.
As a double life. So he has this topper on there.
Yeah.
That he is a married man, I guess. We needed one more thing on top, right?
Great to his regular kids, by the way.
Yeah, apparently. It was like one more thing I don't think the movie really needed. Like, I think if he just went to somebody else's house or sister's house, or it was one extra thing, you know?
Yeah.
I thought it was a little much. And this whole scene is a little much, even though I think it's an effective kill.
He's on a ladder taking down some Christmas lights and almost falls.
Which is very strange because he's taking down these lights at night.
Yeah.
It appears to be very late when he left. So he's like, okay, well, it's 10 o'clock. Let me go do some yard work and take down these lights.
Yeah.
Very, very odd. And the other odd thing about it is this is Chicago. By the way, the last movie dripped Chicago, felt like Chicago, another character in the movie. This movie clearly is shot wherever.
Yeah.
It's Vancouver, but it clearly is not Chicago because this whole scene is in a house. There's a melon patch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What, you can't fucking grow melons in January in Chicago?
No kidding.
I'm assuming it'd be January because he's taking the Christmas lights down, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it had to have been.
So it's the dead of winter and there's melons out there?
Well, I read that they wanted this to be a Christmas movie.
But it's not. They could have easily made it a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
By saying, let me put lights up instead of take them down. That's how you fix that problem.
Yeah.
I was really curious about why would they use the Christmas lights in a non-Christmas movie? It was very strange to me.
Well, at any rate, he thinks the ladder falling down is raccoons.
Yeah.
When he falls, though, he breaks both feet. His ankles, actually.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool.
Feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Chucky's there and he turns on a tiller, which grabs the Christmas lights wrapped around Shane. He's wrapped him around his neck. And yeah. He tries to escape, but Chucky climbs on him and stabs him 13 times after he's scalped by the tiller.
And we get the call back to this is for Tupac line.
Yeah.
Should have ripped that clip.
The cops come and investigate. Andy's neighbor is a detective, which we find out. Andy wakes up and Shane's severed head is left for him. It's basically, or actually, it's not his severed head. It's
just the skin.
It's his skin of
his face
on a watermelon.
Skinned. His face has been skinned Leatherface style, and it's just on one of the melons.
But I didn't realize it was a watermelon until later. That's why my notes say that.
Oh, you didn't realize it was a melon?
Yeah, I thought it was a severed head.
Oh, okay. You just thought like, man, I didn't know the back of that guy's head was so green.
I didn't see the back of his head.
Like, wow, man, what a green round head that motherfucker had.
Are you done?
Anyway, okay, this is divisive among a lot of people. I think it's a little funny.
It's a bit much.
I think it's a little funny, and the movie was never that serious, so it doesn't bother me.
Where did he learn that?
It doesn't bother me he did. Well, I mean, he watched Leatherface. He did it like Leatherface.
Oh.
Cut his face off. Watch the product. Pay attention.
Whatever, dude.
No, so some of those things are learned, and the same thing with the Tupac line. So he calls his friends, they come over and they freak out. What's his face? Pug is, I don't know. He's the one to me that's a little much.
Yeah.
Because there is some comedy here, like them trying to come out of there. I like him. He runs into his mother. What are you doing home? What are we doing home right now? Shouldn't you be at school? I mean, it's very sitcom-y. I do think some of it is kind of amusing.
Yeah.
You know, I love the absurdity of it. It even goes to another level where he has to give that to the neighbor.
Yeah, he really goes all in on this.
Yeah, I feel like this either should have been wackier or darker. It sort of played kind of in the middle. And that's the only thing. I think they should have leaned more into the comedy if they were going to go that route.
Yeah. That
would be my only complaint. Even though, like I said, I did think it was a little funny. I mean, I did chuckle a couple of times at some of the bits, and especially him giving the neighbor the head.
Well, Andy freaks out and locks Chucky away. And then Andy's friends come over and witness the head, and one promptly vomits.
It's Pug.
They wrap the head in wrapping paper and are going to take it to the garbage chute, but Karen comes home. She asks what they're doing, and he says he made a present for the lady that helped him with his homework. And that's the detective's mother.
Yeah, and that's how it escalates because she's immediately
Doreen, I think is her name.
let's go take her to her right now.
Yeah. So Karen makes him take the present to the lady. There's an awkward exchange, but Andy gets out of it. They decide to end Chucky then and there. They jump Chucky and wrestle him down to remove his core that powers him. Eventually, they toss him.
Yeah. This is it's a good little ambush scene. He's like, just come here, and then he drags him to the hit.
Yeah.
Where they take him down. He starts singing the buddy song as he pulls his heart and life force out of him.
Yeah. Someone picks up Chucky back out of the trash and repairs him. And
but that is sort of the thing here. Like, to like these kids' credit, that should be like the end of the movie, right? they did what they should have done. They got rid of the doll and they were set up. And so I do like that narratively they actually did the right thing for some horror protagonists. Just someone else is greedy and it ends up biting him in the ass, or cutting through his ass, I should say.
Indeed, Pedro. Detectives come tell Karen about Shane, and Andy goes to the detective's house to have dinner with the old lady, Doreen. Chucky sees Andy on the cameras, and Andy spots the head wrapped in paper and gets nervous. While the detective turns his back, Andy takes the head and tosses it finally.
Yeah, I do love that he just randomly leaves the dinner.
Yeah, so there's more hijinks.
It does take a little while to pay off. It really does. This is like a solid 12 to 15 minute chunk of the movie. Like right in the middle of it is this sort of sitcom hijinks. And as I said, I don't hate it or anything like that. It's just
where we have a tonal shift just mid-movie.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's sort of the long and the short of it, is that the movie becomes something else for just a brief period, and your mileage may vary here.
It's like, choose which movie you want to be.
Yeah, I think I enjoyed some of the comedy thing. And like I said, I just wish they'd either leaned more into it as opposed to what they did.
The man that repaired Chucky is peeping at Andy's mom.
So he deserves to die because he's a pervert.
Yeah.
But he does have cameras installed to do this.
The lights and TV go out and off and on.
Because he has everything installed into the, what's the fake company, Clavin or?
Caslin, I think.
Caslin, yeah. He has everything on the, even like his spine monitors are Caslin incorporated.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things in here that have internet access that are really stupid.
Chucky eventually stabs the guy. He crawls around, eventually being sawed in half after the pipe he was holding onto heats up and loosens his grip.
Yeah, because he's trying to run away from like the leg scratches that Chucky is applying.
Yeah.
So instead of kicking Chucky as hard as he can, he climbs up on a table saw, which wasn't a great idea. Now, I like that Chucky removes like one of the pins on the leg to make it fall over. But then like, I guess the table saw is connected to the Wi-Fi for some reason, which doesn't make any sense, but that's whatever. But as the guy's hanging there, I'm just looking at this scene. I'm like, why not just swing over to the left or the right? Instead of just hanging over this thing, waiting for it to destroy your ass and genitals.
Or like try to push this table saw over.
Yeah, like he easily just could have swung a little over to the left and got out of that situation. Granted, he still had to fight Chucky, but that would have been better than being dead, being sliced via genitals.
Or having your fingers like boiled off.
Yeah, like he should have like swung over. I don't know. It was a very, I thought that was a little weird. As a death, I wouldn't give it the highest rating because it doesn't really hold up to the logic, and we don't really see a whole lot. Maybe I have problems with the deaths because they all sort of have weird logic to them, which I don't care for. Maybe I don't like this movie as much as I thought.
The detective goes to the crime scene. I didn't think we liked it in the beginning. When you were saying that, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. I didn't remember liking the movie, but I'm also a huge Chucky fan.
Yeah. I think you're remembering it wrong.
No.
Yeah.
Whatever, dude. The detective goes to the crime scene.
Detective Mike.
Andy is at a store and Chucky confronts him. He realizes Chucky's the one he thought he destroyed.
When Chucky was repaired, he basically went and gave himself to like one of the other kids in the apartment building. He
tries to destroy it again, but another kid stops him.
Yeah, the kid who got Chucky this time, they get into a fight when Andy is really prompted by Chucky showing all the evidence of the murders and stuff like that on the TV screens. So I guess he records video too.
Well, they fight and his friend breaks him up, but gets pushed into a shelf.
Yeah, Pug doesn't get pushed into a shelf. He gets pushed into like some cheap $15 speakers. And this is enough for him to be like, Andy, you're the biggest piece of shit in the world.
Yeah.
And also he has to milk this injury later with an ice pack, hitting a small speaker. Practically a concussion. He may be dead.
In our next scene, Chucky grabs a knife and goes for Andy's.
Well, I did want to mention one thing before we leave that is that Andy is able to get to the kid's phone.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he did steal it.
Yeah.
He didn't realize what it was, but he did steal it.
Chucky grabs a knife and goes for Andy's old lady neighbor, Doreen. She gets into a Caslin car that is self-driving, and it finally reaches her destination, which is Bingo Night.
Andy's watching this whole thing on the stolen cell phone.
But it starts to going out of control. Chucky is controlling the car and makes it wreck into another car after turning the airbags and seatbelts off.
Well, my issue is, why would the seatbelts have any automatic function at all? Like, it's the most mechanical thing in the world, right?
Yeah, and she should go flying through that windshield.
Yeah, she really should. She really should. I guess, like I said, I think all the deaths are just okay because I have always like one logic issue with each one. And that's my issue here, even though I think this is pretty well done.
Chucky
as a dark
ends
comedy
up stabbing her.
It's a little dark that the mom dies.
Yeah.
But I guess that's okay. That does feel a little tonally weird. I thought she might have got out of it or just got hurt.
Well, Andy pleads with his mother that Chucky is hurting everyone. She doesn't believe him.
I guess this is the issue I really have with the movie at the end of the day. This core problem is that as this AI, he seems like he is not good or evil. He's just learning. And then once he's killed by Andy, he is just pure evil and he never malfunctions again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I guess maybe the guy fixed him, but if he fixed him, like, wouldn't he have, like, you know, I don't know, fixed the evil software as well? I don't really know.
Yeah.
It just seems so weird that he makes just that shift. I think another movie that we can compare it to, and I think it's a fair comparison, is Megan. Now, this movie predates Megan. And I'm not saying that screenwriter didn't take any ideas from here, but that movie does a better job with showing how that AI slowly becomes evil over the course of the film.
Yeah.
And this movie doesn't do that. It just has him do the serial killer stuff because you need that in a Child's Play movie.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at now. It's where the story becomes much less interesting, even though there is some nice set pieces.
Detective Mike is over his mother crying.
It's fairly well done.
Andy gets egged on by Chucky and destroys the TV. And this is when Karen comes in and thinks her son is fucking crazy.
Yeah, because he just tried to explain to her everything about Chucky and she's not believing it. She takes the kid's cell phone back to try to mitigate the situation. And like I said, she comes back and finds he's in a rage, like destroying the TV, all the Caslin electronics. Everything's Caslin, apparently.
Yeah.
Caslin, this is some dystopian hellscape where there's only one corporation.
Andy's friends think Chucky might be back. After they've been kind of cold towards Andy, been kind of rude about him.
Yeah.
They start to think that he's come back.
Yeah, because they notice that there's police around the apartment because the old woman died.
Mm-hmm.
They bring up the kid's phone and they take a look at what Chucky's been seeing and they finally get a little evidence.
Yeah, the detective gets handed a photo with Shane's head and the wrapping paper, and he recognizes it immediately.
Immediately, he thinks Andy is the killer, which makes sense. Why would he think anything else?
Andy's at the store with where his mom works, and his friends show up. The detective eventually comes and arrests Andy.
As Andy finally gets a little reprieve and his friends are on his side, Mike shows up and immediately places him under arrest.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't matter. He's not really in Mike's custody long because we see the boss earlier who was blackmailed by Aubrey Plaza. He is dressed up as a big buddy doll. And as he's about to step out, this is one of the movie's probably funniest scene, is he is stabbed right in the neck.
Yeah.
Right as they drop the curtain, he comes stumbling out, clearly in trouble, but everybody, all the kids are laughing and cheering, and he takes his mascot head right off, and it sprays blood all over the children.
Mainly this one little girl.
Yeah, who's so excited. She gets blood right in her face. It's a darkly comedic scene. It's really one of the movie's best scenes.
Yeah. Drones start coming alive and attacking the crowd as they go screaming.
Chucky's super powered. He can control all the Caslin electronics and all the new Chuckies, I guess. We need a finale, so sure, it's fine.
Well, the detective gets caught, protecting Andy's friend.
Yeah, like he grabs a drone, it slices him up a bit, and he's like, run, and falls down, incapacitated.
One of the bear buddies attacks Andy.
Who look creepy as hell, the bear ones.
Yeah, but the friends come to save the day. Andy goes to save his mom.
It's pure carnage, and this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. I like this. This is all the carnage with the buddies and the drones. This is fun stuff.
The toy car leads Andy to his mom. She's tied up.
Yeah, well, I think there's something I want to talk about before we get here is like, the kids are all together doing this whole like, hey, we're kids and we can fight against all this evil. And right as the finale gets to that point where we understand that Andy's mother is in serious danger, he puts all the other kids outside and shuts the door.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you, a fucking idiot?
Yeah, you bring them with you.
He's got a bunch of Chuckies. You need all the manpower you can get. So he chooses to go in there alone, and he immediately jobs out to Chucky.
Yeah, Chucky knocks out Andy.
His mother is like, not that way, indicating for him not to do what he's doing, and he gets knocked out.
Chucky's over Andy with a knife while his mother is slowly being strangled. Everyone falls to the floor after he's finally able to cut the rope.
Yeah.
And then Chucky
it's a mad
attacks
dash
him.
to save her, and then there's a little fight between them.
And then Andy stabs Chucky in his core again.
Yeah, this supposedly kills him.
Yep. But he comes back for
One last scare.
And then this is where Detective Mike shows up, and he comes back and shoots it.
And he delivers what's close to the original line in "This is the end." He doesn't say "friend."
Yeah.
That ends Chucky. Well, no, it doesn't end him, but he's down.
Andy's friends break up and burn Chucky.
Well, you missed Aubrey Plaza ripping off his head.
Yeah.
And don't mess with my son. She's like, there's some nice moments here, but her as a single mother isn't her best role. And obviously, it wasn't written as the funniest part. She's fine here, and I love Aubrey Plaza.
They recall all the buddies and stop sales of the Buddy 2. And that's the end of the movie.
Yeah, pretty much. We see a Chucky, his eyes light up as they're doing the recall. So he survived. Technically, his AI did. So it's open for a sequel, but we'll never get one. I think as I recap the movie, I think I ended up liking it a little bit less than I did previously. So I do enjoy it more than some of the other sequels. I think maybe than Part 3. I think it's a better movie than that. I think it might be a better movie than either maybe Seed of Chucky. I don't know. I kind of like Seed of Chucky.
I hate Seed of Chucky.
I have a soft spot. It's got John Waters in it. He gets his face melted. It's fun. It's a fun comedy.
Just because John Waters is in it doesn't make it a good movie.
Yes, it does. He's in a great episode of The Simpsons. Case closed. So nobody reviewed this, right?
Yeah, somebody gave this a 10-star review.
All right, lay it on me. Who loves new Mark Hamill Chucky? Who, by the way, Mark Hamill is quite good here.
Before we get serious, I wanted to tell you that 3.2 user review for this, 57% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 5.7 out of 10 on IMDb.
Fairly low. I mean, not as low as I would have thought, but
this review is called A Very Clever Remake. I wouldn't exactly say this was a remake in the sense of its direct rehash of the original. It's more the case of the original idea had been given to develop by today's standards. It in fact greatly improves upon the original. A very clever observation on society today and how dependent and overexposed to electronic media children are today. How technology has and does develop a crippling, literally abundance in our everyday life. How we use technology to communicate and not communicate. The most striking details I felt was how Chucky was in fact not evil. He was certainly a killer doll, however,
that's true.
had he been given to a young girl obsessed with pink and unicorns. The film would have turned out differently. It is what Chucky learns from his environment that influences him. He learns from what people say and what children watch, like the scene where the kids are watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre and laughing. We had been shown that Chucky had been asking, "Are we having fun?" Please watch this film with an open mind. It deserves to be watched with fresh eyes.
I don't hate that guy's review. I think he listed what he liked in the movie, and I listed my core issue is that it abandons that fun idea of everything he learns comes back again. And I think if they had another solid screenplay pass to really even out what they wanted to do and not focus so much on getting to that third act set piece, which is good, but because they have to get to evil Chucky and everything that everybody expects from Chucky, it really brings down, I think, what the movie could have been. Something more interesting. Even though I will be honest, I do like the fact that it is a very different film. It's an absolute reboot.
How do you feel about the design of Chucky?
It's not bad. I don't
like it.
I don't hate this design, but it certainly, I like the fact that it looks like it's something that could exist. I could see that doll on the shelf. I really could.
I guess.
Yeah, I think
It's got
that's what I like.
cheapness to it.
Yeah, and I think that's what I like about it is it does feel like this
Yeah.
is something you could buy for $200. What is it? I think that's what it's $200.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so this would be like some high-end sort of tech doll or something like that for your kid.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it works in that respect. Like I said, not my favorite look for the character, but it is different. So I'll give them that.
Yeah, you really liked it.
Yeah. And sadly, this movie came out in 2019, which meant very much that Roger Ebert was indeed dead. So he did not review this film. So we do not have a companion review to go against it. Yeah, it's okay. He's been dead for a while. It wasn't Chucky that did it.
Okay, so I guess that's all, folks.
Yeah, that's going to do it. We have wrapped up Child's Play, and maybe one day we'll take a look at the rest of the franchise. Maybe do like a special episode just taking a look at that, because I think it's one of the stronger horror franchises out there, and its longevity really deserves like a deeper dive, I believe.
Yeah, it would be an absolute pleasure to talk about the Chucky sequels.
Yeah, but as for this movie, like I said, I think it's a watchable installment. If you love the series and you got an open mind, you might find something else that you might like. But I think we just found a middling product. But that's going to do it, guys.
All right, we'll talk to y'all later.
See ya.